Foundations of Society and Political Order. You can adjust the language according to your preference. Choose the program that suits your needs from the playlist. Customize the subtitle position on your laptop, and adjust the video speed with the slider to suit your needs and comfort. Let's grow together through your subscribe and like on this video.
Politics begins long before a senator speaks inside a Senate chamber. It begins in small communities, along a rural road near a river, where residents build homes with simple roofs and live according to rules that shape daily life. Every society develops because people respond to needs. When a resident makes a request for clean water, better roads, or safer schools, that request represents a responsibility for leadership to act. The government must respond with respect. Without respect, there can be no trust. In many regions, especially rural areas, resources remain limited. A farmer grows rice beside the river, watching the rise and fall of water levels during each season. A sudden rise in water levels can cause severe flooding. A slow rise can damage soil quality. Political decisions regarding environmental protection directly affect the safety of these residents. A scientist conducts research in a laboratory, examining soil samples to determine how agricultural policies result in long-term economic stability. A researcher may reveal data that shows a significant environmental risk. When leaders review scientific findings, they must act responsibly. To ignore research is to risk serious consequences. Public officials often require clear evidence before they approve new regulations. Every requirement must be evaluated carefully. Leaders may request further research, revise a proposal, or reject an idea entirely. However, rejecting evidence without reason damages credibility. Inside a government office, a secretary records every request and schedules each session for policy discussion. Senators debate resource distribution. They must seek a balance between urban and rural development. A decision that favors one sector may leave the rest of society feeling ignored. Politics is not simply about power. It is about solving problems. When a crisis occurs, such as a natural disaster requiring rescue operations, the government must respond quickly. Rescue teams rush to affected sites. Soldiers assist in securing dangerous areas. Volunteers provide shelter for displaced residents. In such moments, leadership is tested not by words but by action. The role of government extends beyond emergency response. It must secure long-term safety. It must protect rights. It must serve citizens fairly. In modern society, technology transforms governance. A smartphone allows citizens to send requests directly to officials. Satellite systems monitor environmental change. Software helps manage large-scale data. Even robots assist in infrastructure repair after a disaster. Yet, technology also creates new risks. Information can spread in seconds. A single screen can display shocking images that influence public response. People may scream in fear after watching a shooting reported online. Society must remain calm and sensible during moments of crisis. Political stability requires rhythm, a steady, consistent pace of reform and responsibility. Rapid change can create instability. However, refusing change entirely can cause stagnation. The root of political legitimacy lies in trust. Trust develops when leaders respect citizens. It grows when policies result in visible improvements. Better roads, secure housing, fair salary structures, safe schools, and reliable services. Economic growth depends on careful management of resources. Leaders must reserve emergency funds for crisis situations. They must require transparency in public spending. They must review budgets regularly to ensure that money is not wasted. In some cases, corruption may reveal itself through investigative research. When misconduct is discovered, justice must follow. Courts may sentence individuals found guilty of violating public trust. Such action reinforces the rule of law. However, punishment alone does not solve systemic problems. Governments must revise policies to prevent future abuse. They must resolve structural weaknesses. They must replace outdated systems with modern, efficient alternatives. Every political decision produces results. Some results bring reward, others produce regret. Society cannot remain passive. Citizens must stay informed. They must register to vote. They must participate in political sessions when possible. Democracy depends on active engagement. Even in small communities, politics shapes daily life. A restaurant owner depends on fair regulations. A shop worker relies on stable economic policy. A teacher requires adequate resources to educate students. A retired worker depends on secure pension systems. Politics influences whether people feel safe walking down a road at night. It affects whether children sit comfortably in a classroom seat. It determines whether public buildings provide shelter during storms. Politics shapes not only infrastructure, but also the soul of society. Politics is not only shaped inside formal institutions. It is shaped in streets, markets, schools, and public spaces where daily life unfolds. It exists in every section of society and influences every sector of national development. Consider a coastal town by the sea. Fishing boats sail at dawn. A sailor studies the sky, observing weather patterns. A shallow sea may appear safe, but sudden storms can rise without warning. Government policy regarding climate research and satellite monitoring helps reduce risk. When leaders ignore scientific signals, communities suffer severe consequences. In another region, far from the sea, mining operations extract rock from the ground. These solid stones become the foundation of buildings, roads, and bridges. Yet, environmental researchers warn that careless extraction can damage soil, poison rivers, and harm wildlife. Political leadership must balance economic growth with environmental protection. Modern society runs at a rapid pace. Cities run on technology. Software systems manage transportation routes. Digital screens display information every second. A single signal from a satellite can shift financial markets. A sudden shock in global trade may cause prices to rise dramatically. Citizens see these changes on their smartphone screens. They scroll through news feeds, watch political shows, and read serious analysis. Some information is reliable. Some is misleading. Society must develop the skill to distinguish truth from manipulation. Public debate often unfolds online. A politician may shout promises during a campaign. Supporters may sing patriotic songs at rallies. Critics may scream in protest. Emotions can run high. But democracy requires sensible discussion rather than angry noise. In democratic systems, leaders shall serve the people. They should respect diverse opinions. They should remain sincere and serious in their commitment to justice. Education plays a central role in shaping political awareness. In school, students study science, history, and social studies. Scientific knowledge helps them understand climate change, public health, and technological innovation. Teachers encourage students to search for evidence, to analyze data, and to question assumptions. A student may sit quietly in a classroom seat, shy but intelligent. She listens carefully to her teacher. She learns that political revolutions often begin not with violence, but with ideas. A revolution can reshape a nation's political setting when injustice becomes too severe. Throughout history, revolutions have occurred when people felt like slaves under oppressive rule. They resisted authority. They demanded rights. They refused to remain silent. However, not every revolution brings positive results. Some lead to chaos. Others lead to reform. The difference often depends on leadership, organization, and respect for human rights. Cultural identity also shapes politics. In rural communities, sheep graze on open land. Farmers wear simple shirts and boots. Families gather around small tables, sharing salad, rice, and bread. Children run across fields, their sneakers covered in soil and sand. Politics affects these families in quiet ways. Agricultural subsidies determine income stability. Environmental regulations protect water sources. Infrastructure development improves road conditions. These policies may seem small, but they significantly influence daily life. In urban centers, economic activity moves quickly, shops open early, workers rush to offices. Restaurants prepare meals for sale. The size of the economy determines employment opportunities. A strong economy provides jobs and fair salary structures. A weak economy may cause workers to feel scared about the future. Public servants must understand this situation deeply. They must review economic data regularly. They must revise tax systems when necessary. They must ensure that resources are allocated fairly across sectors. Sometimes leaders face difficult decisions. Should they raise taxes to fund social programs? Should they reduce spending to maintain financial stability? Should they reserve funds for emergency rescue operations? Every decision carries risk. Economic inequality can rise if wealth concentrates among a small group of rich individuals. When the gap between the rich and the poor becomes too wide, social tension increases. Citizens may feel sad or angry. They may believe that the system favors only a single elite group. Political stability depends on fairness. Leaders must secure opportunities for several groups across society. They must ensure that rural residents, urban workers, senior citizens, and young students all benefit from development. International trade also influences domestic politics. Ships transport goods across oceans. Containers of rubber, silver, and agricultural products move between nations. A sudden shift in global demand can affect domestic industries. The government must adapt quickly to changing global conditions. Leaders must review trade agreements and revise strategies when necessary. They must retain competitive advantages in key sectors. Technology continues to reshape the political landscape. Robots assist in manufacturing. Artificial intelligence software analyzes large sets of economic data. Satellite systems monitor environmental changes in real time. But technological advancement also creates ethical questions. Should governments use advanced surveillance systems to maintain security? How can they balance safety with privacy rights? Security measures must remain proportional. Excessive control may damage trust. Citizens may feel that their personal freedom is under threat. Political communication also matters. A careless remark by a senior official can create diplomatic tension. A poorly delivered speech may damage a reputation. Public confidence can sink quickly after a scandal. Trust, once lost, is difficult to restore. Political leaders must remain transparent. They must share information honestly. They must respond to criticism respectfully. They must demonstrate that they are responsible servants of the public, not rulers seeking personal reward. At the same time, citizens also hold responsibility. They must vote. They must participate in public discussions. They must analyze policies carefully before forming opinions. Democracy requires active engagement. When citizens withdraw from participation, power becomes concentrated. When power concentrates without accountability, corruption may grow. History shows that political systems rise and fall. Some remain stable for decades. Others collapse within a short period. The root cause of collapse often lies in failure to respond to changing social conditions. Society is dynamic. It shifts, it evolves, it grows. Politics must evolve with it. If leadership remains rigid while society changes rapidly, tension increases. If leaders refuse to revise outdated systems, frustration may spread across communities. Reform requires courage. It requires leaders willing to listen. It requires citizens willing to participate. The future of politics will depend not only on institutions but on people, on their sense of justice, their willingness to respect differences, and their commitment to peaceful cooperation. Politics is not merely a system of rules. It is a reflection of society's soul. And the soul of society depends on how people treat one another, with dignity, fairness, and shared responsibility.